It used to be in times past, kids would sneak a smoke in the bathroom at school or steal the parents' cigarettes. Heck, I did that, and I hope they're not watching. But today, teenagers and sometimes even preteens, that's right, preteens are vaping rather than smoking, and it's become a real problem. And joining us to talk about this is Dr. Eden Evans, Director of the Center for Addiction Medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital and Professor of Psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. Welcome to the Smart Life, Dr. Evans.
Thank you, Derek. It's glad to be here.
Great. Dr. Evans, let's begin with describing what actually happens when someone vapes. Can you maybe describe the process, what's going on inside our bodies with that?
So a vape is a device that heats a liquid in order to produce a vapor. So like steam when you boil water, this little device has a battery and it heats a liquid and you inhale the vapor from that liquid deep into your lungs. And then the blood supply to your lungs basically absorbs a lot of what you've breathed in and takes it to the rest of your body. So vape liquid affects your lungs directly, and then whatever gets absorbed into your bloodstream gets carried to the rest of your body, particularly for nicotine and THC to your brain.
Wow, you said something interesting. You said you take a deep breath in, so you inhale really strong. So obviously there's more effect on it. I know there are flavored liquids that often contain nicotine and other substances, and there's been a lot of concern about these popular flavored products, especially aimed at kids. The marketing is aimed at these kids, you know, get the flavored one, the bubble gum, the pineapple, all those things.
That's right.
Is that a problem that's leading to teenagers to do this more?
It absolutely is. The kids really love the flavors, the fruit flavors, the candy flavors, even the mint flavors. And so there's some effort to ban these flavors in order to stop kids from starting vaping, just because sometimes kids will start just for the flavors and then become addicted to the nicotine or the THC in the vapes.
So they're not actually vaping for the nicotine, they're vaping just for the flavors or just to be cool or something like that. But I know nicotine is one of the main ingredients. There's also vape products with marijuana, THC and CBD. Is that different from the flavored ones?
So all of them, so THC vapes, nicotine vapes, and there are just plain flavors, so kids can just vape flavors. So they're different because they behave differently in your body and cause different effects. Kids may start for the flavors, but once they become addicted, they're no longer vaping for the flavors, they're vaping to satisfy their cravings or to reduce their withdrawal symptoms because they've developed an addiction to the nicotine or the THC.
What's the problem with the nicotine? What is the nicotine causing in our bodies?
Increase your heart rate. It is a stimulant, so it can keep you awake, but it mainly changes your brain such that your brain begins to crave it, begins to need it. It changes nicotinic receptors in your brain. And so nicotine is one of the most addictive substances known to man. Nicotine is up there with heroin in its level of addictiveness.
Okay, is that THC, some of these products also have THC and CBD. They're not as addicting as nicotine would be?
So nicotine is more addictive than THC. THC is still quite addictive, particularly in adolescents. An adolescent who takes in THC through vaping or any other way daily for a period of time has about a 25 to 50% chance of becoming addicted to that THC. Mm-hmm. So then craving it, having withdrawal symptoms, and potentially having vulnerability to other addictions later in their life.
So vaping can lead to an addiction?
Yes.
That's no doubt about that.
There's
I know
no
that
doubt.
a lot of the vaping products have, in addition to, let's say, the THC or the nicotine, particularly in the black market, they'll have acetate or vitamin E.
You're speaking about EVALI, this e-cigarette or vaping-related lung injury, which really took the country by storm. Came out of nowhere, and we started seeing very severe lung illnesses, causing people to be very sick, needing hospitalization, and a number of deaths. So we had about 3,000 cases so far, with 60 deaths so far. There's still new cases going on, Derek, unfortunately, although the rate of rise really peaked in September of 2019, and the number of new cases has steadily declined since then. We think that that's largely due to a substance called vitamin E acetate, although it may be due to other causes, other chemicals in the vape liquid. There's active research going on about that now, led by the CDC, because none of these vape products are actually monitored or approved by the FDA. So the ingredients are different from company to company. And there are many people, I think about 15% of people who developed EVALI claimed only to have vaped nicotine products that were, commercially approved. So I don't think we can be confident that it's only the black market THC vapes that are the problem.
Vaping CBD treats so many conditions, including depression and anxiety. Could that be why teens who are under a lot of pressure, is that why they might be doing this?
That's a great point. I mean, certainly we see that kids who vape have a higher prevalence of psychiatric or mental health problems. So that is true. We do know that CBD improves pediatric seizures in some cases, and it has FDA approval for that. So that's great. And our group and others are studying CBD for problems like insomnia, depression, anxiety, pain.
With the vaping, is there any warning signs that a caregiver or parent can look out for that you would recommend?
Well, Derek, that's a great question. And vaping is so common that you should just talk to your kids about vaping. Certainly if they're a senior in high school, they're going to know people who vape because as many as a third of kids are vaping. So I think that's the way to start, is to ask about it. You can educate yourself as to what the vape devices look like. They change every few weeks. There's real product engineering going into that. So the Juuls really looked like flash drives or thumb drives, but now they look like beautiful key fobs or even makeup containers. Sure. So it's hard to recognize. So really a dialogue is, I think, the way to go.
Doctor, do you think this is a gateway drug per se? Would it lead to other drug consumption?
I do. We're studying that now. There's very good data from the animal literature that a couple of weeks exposure to either nicotine or to THC makes other drugs more addictive. So drugs like cocaine. And we know we don't think of cocaine as needing help being more addictive. So particularly for adolescents, the message is it's worth waiting. If you're going to try these things. The later you start these, the less impact they have on your brain development and the less impact they're likely to have on essentially this gateway phenomenon or the addictiveness of other drugs.
Thank you for being on A Smart Life. We appreciate you being with us.